So what is ETTP about, or Entrepreneurship to the Point? It's about being able to get to the point of things that impacts and affects entrepreneurs.
So if you look at Africa, or actually globally, we have 8.1 billion people on the planet, right? If you look at Africa itself, we have 1.3 billion people, approximately. And we're looking at over 500 million youth that are eager to adopt anything that's digital or anything that is mobile in this digital era. And in essence, what we're talking about here, exactly like Sean opened up with, is that AI is a force multiplier, specifically for us small businesses, for us entrepreneurs, and it actually helps us to do so much more with less. No longer is scale and footprint a very strategic advantage, like we find with many large corporates. We can now, the fields have been leveled that we could actually now become a lot more responsive, leverage these technologies to actually drive change. I love the strategist, right? Because here, what you can do, and maybe we can work through that shortly, is you could actually go and validate a brand new idea. So sometimes, or this was me back in the day, I would actually say, you know, I think this is a good initiative. I think I'm going to make a lot of money off this new business that I'm starting. And then you just hear cricket. Nobody's rocking out. You got the clothing, you got the designs, you got the venues, you got everything, full-on business plan, gathering dust, right? But here you can actually utilize, and we'll go through an example. You can actually stress test an idea. You can validate that idea. You can come up with roadmaps. You can come up with experimentation plans, and you can actually go and experiment this with using real data that your strategist could go out and scrape. So what I do see emerging is that there is going to be a new class of workers, right? And for many of us, we are here in this spot over here, right? Because we even now 50% of our audience here that aren't using AI, I'm sure by tomorrow and by Monday, we are going to be onboarded, right? We're going to be using the premium version before we go and spend our $20 and all those funds over there. But this is where we see ourselves, right? But there's going to be a huge gap between those that actually utilize it and those that don't, right? And it's actually going to be greater and more dramatic than the digital divide. And there's a lot of conversation around this, right? Where, you know, Richard Baldwin coined the term where he said, you know, AI won't take your job. He's actually the person that is harnessing the AI capabilities that is going to take your job. But I have slightly a different twist. And even after our engagement here today and after, you know, while we're grabbing drinks here, is I believe AI will take your job. But it will actually give you one that's better.